Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
As unbelievable as it sounds, this is another Arsenal podcast, that is the Away Gunners podcast. We bring news and reaction from Arsenal fans from all over the world. Good morning, everybody. So this is the third episode of the Away Gunners podcast. We've got Ellen, Bob, and Arun back here with us today to discuss on the lucky win against West Ham. Should we call it a lucky win, or should we just go ahead and say a scrappy win? Either one, we have got 3 points. So, woohoo! Bob, so I'll start with you regarding the win. It is one of the scrappiest win. It is one of the wins that we call as ugly win. So, do you think that this is okay as it's like 3 points, or do you think that this should not become the new normal, or this is not the new normal? What do you think of the game? What do you think of the win?
Okay, I'll start off this way. Possibly when I predicted the scoreline for this game, I did it right by mentioning 2-1 in our favor. And I mean, the reason as to why it made me think that way is David Moyes has never won against a top 4 team ever in his career, or you have to go long way back to even find one. So he would be willing to, set or turn the records in his favor, and he would want to set up a team to frustrate us most. That was not quite what happened, although we made it really scrappy. And as you mentioned, we were lucky enough to come out with the 3 points, which all mattered at the end of the day. He did set up the team composition right for us to, try and frustrate us as much as West Ham could. And in fact, they came out very well on top. On any other day, or probably I would go on to say, if they had done the same thing under Unai Emery, they would have gone back with 3 points of their own. It was a very, very good West Ham performance. We were pretty scrappy. We were completely disorganized. And for us to come with the 3 points is definitely a bonus that you would take any day. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Bob started off without even saying a hi back, so I guess he was so eager to put on the positive note on it. So, Arun, hi.
Hello, I'll be a nice guy. I'll be courteous.
So the thing is, like Bob mentioned about like Unai Emery, the game play sort of mimicked the excuses that we gave for Unai Emery. Like we were like giving out as a big team, we should be getting all these crappy wins. When the team under Unai Emery was getting all these like ugly wins, where we were not playing well, we were not taking enough shots, we were not creating enough, and we were just giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying that, oh, this is fine, we are still getting the points off. So do you see the pattern again, or do you see no, the gameplay was much better, it was just one of those games?
First of all, if you ask me if the gameplay was much better, no, the gameplay was not better at all. In fact, the way in which I saw the game was two teams that were trying very hard to, like not score or not, because there was nothing going on in the game. If you see the first half, Arsenal were not there. West Ham didn't turn up either, so that worked in our favor. The goal that we got, yeah, we got a goal, but the things that led to the goal coming in, it wasn't proper. The second half, they played really well, and we were there. We were still there. We just like barely scraped through. It just goes on to show how much of a midfield, what sort of a midfield rather that we have, and what sort of players we are lacking. If you think about it, West Ham's plan was very simple. Like Bob said, their idea was to have like a compact setup, make sure that they block our passing channels. They know, given the formation that we're playing, if they block our passing channels going through the final third, it was going to be very easy for them. And they were hitting us repeatedly on the counter as the same thing was happening. We were trying really hard. There was some passing going on. When it came to the final third, everything stopped. It was some guy, some random Western player. You don't even have to take their names. Who just take the ball, bump it forward. They go on the counter and give a chance to Mikel Antonio. Now, had this happened during the Unai Emery era, we would have definitely lost this game. I would go as far ahead as saying that we might have lost in such a situation under Wenger as well, because of the fact that the players, like I said, there was no organization, there was nothing going on. They were trying to put a string together set of passes, but that was not coming off well. But they kept knocking, they just kept trying something. And I don't think this would have happened under the Unai Emery era. We might have ended up with maybe a draw. West Ham more than deserved to get a point from the game. They were really very good in the second half. They made sure that we had nothing going on. That's pretty big. Even if they had set up for a draw, coming and pulling off a draw away at a top 6 side is pretty difficult. And they came really close to doing it. So I believe that the gameplay has improved. It is definitely not where it has to be. We have quite a while to go. And I think this game pretty much brought us all back to the ground. We were flying so high after that first win against Fulham. It showed the quality of Fulham. It showed our quality, and it showed how we are going to be performing against a team even of West Ham's quality. Forget the Evertons, forget the Leicesters. Just West Ham's quality, we're struggling. So I'm not going to be completely negative, but this is an ugly win, a scrappy win. It's pretty good. I would take the 3 points if you ask me. 3 points of beautiful play right now. 3 points any day. I don't care about beautiful play just yet. So it was a scrappy win, but these are the kind of wins that you need over the course of a season. You cannot expect to keep playing beautiful football week in, week out and keep winning. These are the kind of wins that you need. 3 points. That's all matters, So I wouldn't worry too much about the gameplay just yet, because we need the players. We need to be able to play attractive football. But 3 points are good. We need men that show that we need the players we need,
So we have also got Rohit in, so that's a good news. But before I go to Rohit to ask the questions, I'm gonna say hi to Ellen and expect a reply from him too. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Vijay.
So Bob, you are the only person who didn't say a hi back. That's a bad thing.
I jumped on straight into the topic. No neating at his. I just wanted to talk whatever that I had in mind, and then I thought probably you used all of us to the pot. So sorry for that.
Australians are not as courteous as us. So.
Okay, so Ellen, Arun was mentioning about 3 points as a 3 points. Do you see that way, or do you still feel that this gameplay has to improve, or do you think this is part of the ploy where Arteta has one eye on the upcoming fixture and selected a team based on that, or selected whatever was available on that?
Okay, and before answering that, right, I'll go back to last week. I said this game will be a very good game for us because of our bus signing, and the team will be doing big things. They'll be
you mentioned 4-0, 4-0,
yes,
4-0.
Definitely. But what happened at the start, during the warm-ups, Tierney getting injured was a major impact, and I think somehow that affected the team. Though it should not happen, it has affected the team. And regarding the win, right, I'll take it, as Arun said, whatever form of win, a win is a win, and it continues our momentum too. So I will always take that. But whether this is a performance I need to worry, I won't at the moment, because this looks like a one-off for me. The major reason is see, it is not the other team was performing well and we are performing well and we were still bad. But this is more see, you saw there was one instance where Sabel is at the ball and he passed it to David Moyes directly without no people coming and troubling him himself. It was he was free and he was passing it to the. So our game was not at all there. It was not only Sabel. Many players were not at all even passing proper. They were passing directly to the opponent without any pressure. So I don't think that will happen regularly for us. So this is more a one-off for me. But that being said, this match clearly showed us what all things we lack. One is we lack a backup for Tierney. Other is we need a creative midfield. Say when teams are organized or teams sit back, right? We are going to struggle this season. That has been evident. Whatever we know That was clearly evident. This is like a good example. This match is a good example for all the negative things we have, or all the areas where we lack in the team. So I see this as a good learning experience. I'm very happy that Arteta also is seeing that way, because if you see his post-match conference, though he's happy with the win, he's not at all happy with whatever we played.
Okay, so happy with the win. Rohit, are you happy with the win? I know that you are the cynic of the group, so maybe you would bring in like, oh no, I like everything's wrong. We are going down. We are not like, because everyone else had this like after the first game, we were like, yeah, for sure we'll get into top five. For sure we are like challenging for Europa. So all these like positive things were like bandied about after the first game, and like not just the first game. I guess it's because of the last three games, which was like winning trophies, winning the Community Shield, and then coming in and like giving that swashbuckling reaction to the Fulham game. But this has been one of the scrappiest and like one of the one of those lucky wins or whatever they call. So do you see this, like everyone else is saying no, this is not a pattern, but like do you see that this is a pattern, like especially considering last season we had games against like Brighton, which was similar to this uh, in the project restart. So what do you see with this win about the team and like where we are going?
Actually, I'm extremely happy with the win. It was
You weren't
the
expecting
kind of
this, were
scrappy
you?
win. It was the kind of scrappy win that we needed. Ellen actually covered everything that I wanted to say. Like he mentioned, we missed Tierney, and the problems that we have. Nothing new came up. It is all ones that we already know of. The midfield is not good enough. We need, and Arteta has. There was a news report that he's looking to sign two new signings, and we know who that is. So that is not a problem. And you know, uh, and I saw what Arun did there. And one thing I wanted to point out. I mean, when I mentioned that Ellen covered everything, there was one thing that I wanted to say about. We talked about this last week about the hybrid role that Maitland-Niles and Tierney did. I think we lacked that yesterday. I mean, Saka was really good. I mean, but he was not able to do that hybrid role that Arteta wants. If Maitland-Niles was there yesterday, we would have been more solid defensively. Maybe our attacking threat would not have been there as much as we wanted. But if we were there solid defensively, we would not have looked as bad as today. Spurs, yeah, Son scores 4 goals. I'm checking the score line as well. I know I saw Arun's reaction.
Bringer of bad news. Come on, guys.
I haven't in FPL, so that's not very bad.
That is like, I don't care about FPL. Like anytime like you bring good news on Spurs behalf, it's not a good news for us, guys. No way. Yeah. So
That's
coming back.
even worse than not saying hello, actually.
Actually, he didn't say hello, Bob.
So
Did you
that's
notice
as
that
good as
he
what I
joined
get.
your group?
But at least I didn't, Vijay told hi and you didn't respond. He didn't say hi to me as well, so I didn't respond. So your was. And one more thing, we talked about the crowd factor as well last week. It was a good thing that the crowd wasn't present for this game, because we made a lot of stray passes in the beginning, and the crowd would have, started. They would have become quiet at least, and that would have a negative effect on the players. So good thing that the crowd wasn't there for at least for this game. And
Yeah.
Gabriel was exceptional. He maybe he made 2-3 mistakes, but he was very good in the air. And yesterday, if he wasn't there, we would have surely conceded from set pieces or from one of those crosses and long balls, because it was very difficult to contain Antonio. And if you see the highlights of Gabriel alone, he had won like 3-4 really good long balls, and others were not able to do. Holding was not able to do that at all. But Gabriel was a real presence in our box. So I'm extremely happy with him. I thought in the Fulham game that it was early, but now I'm convinced that he's really good. and hopefully he plays like this, throughout the season. And
Someone mentioned that Mustafi started the career at Arsenal, similar
I
to
did.
what? Yeah, it was you. Okay, of course. Yeah.
No, because
So
I remember when Mustafi started, he had like 20 odd games where we were unbeaten when he started, and he was good. Even now, I think he's a good defender, but he's short of confidence.
I can see Ellen's disapproval on that
No,
statement.
no.
But but yeah, let's.
If I may, I have a point, a counterpoint to actually Rohit's. I feel I disagree. I wasn't really happy with Gabriel. I don't know. I mean, like, this was West Ham, and he was making it. I know it's his second game in the league and all that, but he was making it seem like he was defending against Kane or Salah. You know, the stuff that he did, the jitteriness. It was not just the 15, 20 minutes. And even the ball that he miraculously stopped, the one that hit his, I think it hit his bum or the lower back against Antonio. It wasn't intentional. Don't tell me that was intentional. The handball, yes, exactly, the handball. So it was really, I don't know. I mean, like, is he going to be this good against like the top level opposition, like like a Werner, or even like the Rashford? I don't know. I mean, like, I found the game to be a bit of a struggle for him. I was really surprised when everyone was praising him. I don't know. I don't think, because the thing is, I found that with Kolasinac right next to him, he was totally lost. So if he's also a kind of player who's going to need someone better than him to play in a top three, I don't know if this is going to be the right guy for us, like, guiding us throughout the season, because it's he's going to be another Lewis then. I hope he doesn't become another
Exactly.
Lewis, but this was my huge concern when I was watching the game. He was there, he was everywhere. When we had the ball, it was good. He was like he was able to pass the ball. Yes, playing out from the back was not difficult for him, but he wasn't like all like composed and all. He didn't really, I don't know, it was never like a commanding presence. Every time they showed the camera on him, he was sweating, he was panting. It wasn't like he was confident. I don't know, maybe I'm just like looking too much into all this, but I really felt he's not going to be the one who is going to take us to the next level if this continues. At least if this continues, I don't know. I might be the only one.
Oh,
No,
okay, okay. So I have like two problems on that. First of all, Kane is not a top quality striker. Like, whatever you tell me, I will never be convinced of that. He's a good player, but not a top quality that we are going to go against. And he's in a Mourinho team, so basically he's a center back. And the other thing is like he's playing against West Ham, yes, but he's also playing with Kolasinac, which in the sense he's covering more grounds. He's responsible for defending more areas than necessary. I feel like if there was someone like who was defensively aware, like he would have like lesser space to defend, rather than like he is defending. Uh, he was once at right back, following someone over to the right back position and put in a block there, and then ran back all the way to the center to do something else. So I feel that was not fair on him to judge on a game where he was required at every place. Bob, I would like to come to you regarding the starting lineup. So we have already touched on the Gabriel part of it, but like your thoughts on I mean, it's a forced starting lineup in some cases because Tierney got that training injury, but still apart from that, like Kolasinac, what do you think of the starting lineup? Like, do you think that Saka coming in for Maitland-Niles was needed, or do you think why did we do that, especially when we have like a cup game midweek where we could have brought in like Saka, we could have brought in everyone else that we need?
Yeah, no, I think the biggest surprise came to me as you rightly mentioned about Maitland-Niles not starting up in the starting 11, because I think that was I thought the real deal. We had a real gem in Maitland-Niles who could possibly play many positions, and he is versatile enough that he can actually cover a lot of ground, something which we can't quite expect from Kolasinac. So, and that became our weakest link as well. Even in the goal conceded, he was the one at fault. Kolasinac was just simply yawning there, and then he let the ball go past him, and that was not even properly covered by Gabriel from the left hand side, which made Antonio pounce onto it. So yes,
Bob, one thing. Kolasinac, I mean, Maitland-Niles wouldn't have played in Kolasinac's position yesterday, right?
not really,
It
but
would
you
have
would
been Tierney.
you would expect your wing backs to cover the position, to make sure that they track back, and then they avoid these sort of crosses coming from the wing. So that's what your position of a left wing back is, or player say playing in that position does. So yeah, in that regard, so I mean, maybe Saka could have actually come back and done that, but I don't know. So they were just simply outplayed by Fredericks in that in that game of play. It could happen anytime. So, but that's okay. I think that was one of the surprises which I had with Maitland-Niles not starting. I was as well a bit surprised about Elneny not starting. I thought probably that he was making some decent runs. So Ceballos was all right, but I would have more preferred Xhaka and Elneny starting together, just like how they did against Fulham. But of course, I think that was just purely from my point of view that I thought Boss would have definitely known things, or he would have seen things in training which made, which would have prompted him to start with Ceballos and Xhaka. That being the case, rest of it were pretty routine. So I think the front three of Villian, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, that's gonna probably stay until or unless Pepe proves him enough to make sure that he puts him back into the starting 11. Rest of it was all pretty usual. One thing which we all touched upon is the fact that we don't have a plan B in the left wing if Tierney is injured. That was definitely a big hole to cover, I would say. Most of their attacking thing, whatever that they did, they definitely exploited our left wing. And as I had mentioned before, that's where the goal as well came down from. So that's definitely an area which we need to be really very clear in terms of what's the plan A and what's the plan B, and how are we going to work it up to the level that we expect it to. So if we are going to be playing against the likes of Liverpool, City, we definitely need to be up to speed, for us to block from either of those wings. I thought from my side, the right wing was very quiet, particularly in the second half. Our game tilted towards the left-hand side to more, I think it was more to suit Oba. He was making runs there on the left-hand side, so our gameplay shifted more towards the left-hand side. Saka did make a lot of runs, and particularly mention about the second goal where he actually pulled himself back, which made three of those West Ham players come back with him, and then it created an opening for Ceballos to penetrate, and then Nketiah was just there to bundle the goal in. So that was definitely a very clever play from Saka that I noticed.
Bob, if you don't mind, can you say that once more? Who passed the ball?
It was passed from Ceballos to
Who scored the goal?
Nketiah.
And what was happening last week?
See, I did mention that last week. Things just get flared up in training. That's pretty usual, and I don't think that needs to be blown out of proportion. And things will continue to happen, and that's how. Trainings people play against for different teams, and then they're split against into different teams, and they have different strategy to work on each day. And these things definitely does tend to happen, and I don't disagree with that. And I won't really come out to say, oh, this squad is united enough that they won't even, fight or lift a finger against each other in training. As long as it's there, taken sportively, and they tend to move on, it's okay. And it was a really good, touching thing, right since that incident happened, these two combined to score that goal made, it was an icing on the cake that I felt.
So, Ellen, to continue on Bob's point, right? Like he was talking about the like he touched upon Ceballos shortly, but I want you to weigh in on Ceballos. Uh, he has not he has not been good in the game. We have all been saying this, like Ceballos is someone we need right now, and all those things because he's good in tight spaces. He's kind of like clean in his passes. He's someone who's busy in the midfield. He was busy in the midfield, but he was not someone who was making the play. He was not the Ceballos from Project Restart. He was the Ceballos under Unai Emery, except the first game. Is it like because of lack of match fitness, or is it something else? Like he's not in sync with other players, especially like I thought his passing to Willian was completely off. His passing to someone at the back was completely off. So what do you say to that? Like, what do you think? Like, was he the problem in the midfield, or are we
Um,
forgetting him?
No, not exactly. Like, see, I would not disagree that like there could be like match fitness issues for him, but I don't think like he's the only reason. Like because none of our players passed perfectly like in the last match. See, regarding Bob's point on starting with Saka, that was something like the thing which we discussed in the past also. Like AMN might not start against the bottom half of the teams because we will need to attack more, and I expect Saka to start instead of AMN. But with Tierney getting injured in the warm-up, right? Like when you bring Kolasinac, right, the defense gets weakened. So I'm not saying like Saka needs to be replaced. Like I didn't in at least that scenario, I expected it to start us with El Neni again. But I'm not sure how much the rules allow us to change the players after we announce it and like doing a change because of a warm-up injury. Maybe it might have prevented it, or else like I think like if you're going to start Kolasinac, like I wouldn't have started with Ceballos for sure because like that will weaken our defense a lot more. That being said, like see, until we get an attacking midfielder or a creative midfielder, like Ceballos will definitely play for us because El Nani and Zaka are similar kind of players. Like they're not going to rush forward. They are just going to be either defending or like going to be a bridge between the defenders and attackers. They are not going to like move forward. So we will have to start with Ceballos until we sign a new player. That's my opinion on the starting lineup.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting view. Rohit, I'm just trying to like understand one thing here, which I think like we've been talking about the goalkeeper situation for a long time, and this game was not Leno's best game. It was not putting him in a place where we can go ahead and say stuff like, yeah, Leno is our number one for sure, right? So. Uh, so is it like because of the back four or back three? Like, is it because of all this like switching and changing that Leno was all like? Is it the communication gap between Leno and Gabriel and like the rest of the team that has caused so much trouble, especially from set pieces? And like we saw Leno not sure enough to come out and grab the ball or punch the ball. He was hesitant to move forward. He was hesitant to move back, but he was playing as a sweeper keeper at times when he was like outside our box. He was making those kind of like forward passes and all those things, but it was like a mixed performance for me from Leno. What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, we know that Leno is a good shot stopper. He's one of the best shot stoppers around. But his weakness is, commanding the box. And, for set pieces, he needs better defenders around him to do the work. And yesterday, holding was very bad. Gabriel, I thought, was good. And that is the reason why we didn't concede from a set piece. But other than that, this is a problem that we know about Leno. That he isn't good when he isn't good when he has to come out and catch the ball and stuff like that. But I think he will get better uh, when you start Lewis, or hopefully in the future when we have Saliba. So this is not like a surprise for us. We know that this is the problem, but I still, I'm confident about Leno being a good goalkeeper for us in the years to come. So this is not a big worry. Maybe the others should improve around him. Yeah, Martinez was, on the other hand, he was good at such things like defending from corners, coming out, collecting the ball, and yeah, but we had to let him go. We can't discuss now that we should have Martinez back instead of Leno.
No,
We
20
we
million
will have to
sounds
trust him.
awesome. 20 million
Yes,
sounds
definitely.
awesome. I would still be like, yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we should trust in Leno, and maybe holding is good as a backup centre back, but he isn't good enough to pass the ball from the back. He isn't good enough to stop a physical attacker like Antonio showed yesterday. So yeah, but we don't have to sell him. We need a reliable backup, and he's a very good one.
We have been focusing too much on like the back and the defense so much, but Arun, like, do you think our attackers need to take some blame for the game because there was not enough shots on target? There was not enough being created. Like, Willian was awfully quiet, and we know Auba is quiet most of the games except when he kind of like decides to like change the game. But apart from that, none of our forwards really created anything, or they didn't like we could convince ourselves that they didn't get service, but is it also a case of like they were not creating anything, they were not doing much? Like, of course, Bob mentioned about those runs that Saka and Auba were making in the second half, but apart from that, there was not really any attacking threat from us. Do you see that way? I mean, not until like Laka and Willian was substituted in, and then Pepe came in and created some chaos around the box. So do you see that our attackers should share some blame on this?
Okay, so let me see. Bob mentioned that they were attacking our right side most of the time, which meant that we were defending, and our left side is our strongest side. So if I remember right, I think throughout the first half, Abba had like a couple of touches, and that's it. So that is, I know he drifts in and out of the game, like he gets one shot, that's a goal, but that's not right, like nothing was happening from the left side, and it was largely down to how the team was set up and who were the people playing. We've spoken a lot about Kolasinac and the presence of Tierney and Eamon, but just the presence of Kolasinac rattled everything so much. The plans were so messed up at that point that nothing was happening from that side. Nothing. The left lane we were just continuously defending. And though we were trying to spread play, use the width and increase the size of the pitch, whatever was happening was there was nothing going on from midfield. Willian, the only reason that he's starting right now is because we don't have a proper creative midfielder. So if you notice, most of the time he was dropping back to get the ball, but his passes were not going anywhere, which eventually led us with just two striking options. If you think about it, Auba and Laka, and they were the only two people up front. Say what you might want. If we have a midfield, if we have creative players, or if we have a midfield and defense, they have to get things going for the forwards. We cannot expect the forwards, especially against games like this, against teams like Westham. You cannot normally expect your forwards to do everything. You need something, because those guys are defending for their lives, and we need something to unlock the defenses and put the balls through, and that was not happening. Do the forwards take the blame? No, I would not say the forwards take the blame. Laka was doing all that he could. He was dropping back, getting the ball. Abba was always waiting. Even the goal came courtesy of them both. The first one, it did not involve the other players. It was mostly Abba's cross that Laka headed in. If you ask me about the other players, it was definitely down to the midfield and the right wing, I would say. William was pretty much not doing anything, and everything that he tried to do didn't go his way. And that actually shows us why we cannot go into the season, with guys like Ceballos and Willian, we definitely need better reinforcements if we do want to play our team. If we want to do score more than 2 goals in an unscrappy way, in a way that would be like good and give us confidence. I know we scored 2 goals, but none of the goals gave us confidence. I found, especially like the way in which Saka was asked to do a lot more than what he would normally have wanted to do, and it worked out sometimes, but most of the time it didn't. He was trying too many things, and that is not what you should be expecting from a 19-year-old either. So I believe that most of it, almost all of it, is down to the midfield. I would not put the blame on the forwards at all. I believe the forwards did as good a thing that you would want them to do. So yeah, it's mostly down to the midfielders, I feel.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
Ellen, go ahead. You wanted to add something to it.
yeah. Like I also like agree with Arun on that. Like one other thing which I want to add is like in the last match, right? Like the defense were like completely like troubled by Antonio. See, Antonio has troubled many teams in the Premier League. Like that is one of his strength. Even big defenders struggle against his physical attacks. So he was like really good, and our defense was like not confident with Kolasinac also playing like and Rob Holding not having a good game. So they were like little bit like less in confidence and like they were not moving forward much like how they were doing in other games. And in that area, right, the midfield is the one like who has to take the ball to the attackers, and like they completely miss that. Like there are, like see in the last game, right, there was like not a period like say in the past, like even in Emery's era or like Arsene Wenger's era, even when we are playing badly, right, we'll at least do sideway passes between us so that the other team doesn't get the ball. Like that kind of thing was also missing yesterday. Like there is not even like a series of passes from our team. Like, and that was like one of the major reasons why the attackers looked bad. They didn't get any service at all. Like, or like the midfielders like were losing balls like in like say 2-3 passes itself. So like I will not blame the attackers for yesterday's game. If you want to blame somebody, it will be the midfielders, like the complete set of midfielders, like is what I'll say.
Okay, but so let's move on to the next section where we'll talk more about like the team structure and gameplay instead of focusing on players. And especially for that game, I feel like we could split the whole game into like 3 sections where like first half, second half, and the later part of second half. That is after our substitutions, because that's where the game happened for me. Rohit, so explain to me about like what you think is our structure, or like what are we trying to do? I know that we are trying to form those like in between lines, passing lanes. Even the commentators mentioned that where like when we are defending, we have like 5 players in defense, and when we are attacking, we make sure that we have 5 players in attack. But that was not happening yesterday, especially with like they were trying to crowd out our left side, and they were trying to also pressure our defense so hard. Like they were pressing us in those 2 areas. So like what do you see as the plan that we went out with, and what do you see that changed? I mean, obviously Tierney getting injured changed it, bringing in Kolasinac changed it, but like what was the plan? Is it the same plan that we have always had, or did we have like something else?
I thought
Because for
the plan was the same. It was just the problem of the personnel involved. Uh, Kolasinac, doing his thing, doing whatever he does, spoiled everything for us. That is what I think. And the early passes that we did, those were very bad, and it brought down the confidence. Apart from that, the plan is, that is what Arteta does usually. We had like in attack, we had Saka and Kolasinac bombing forward, and in defense, we almost have like a backfire. So the plan hadn't changed, and this is kind of a reality check for us. If someone listened to this podcast without seeing the score, they would think that we would have lost, because we're being really harsh on the team. This is actually a good win to have, and this should prepare us well for the next few matches. We have the next 4 matches are really difficult. Next one against Liverpool, and then Sheffield, and then City, and then Leeds. So yeah, if we had gone into the Liverpool game feeling all confident and then realizing our problems there, that would have been very bad. They would have butchered us. So this is actually good that we are seeing these problems, early in the league, and the most important thing that we didn't lose any points. So it was good to see. And for your question, I don't think the structure has changed. The tactics hadn't changed. It was just a matter of personnel.
Bob, so we could talk about the first goal, because before that, I mean, they were pressing us. They were like, it was sort of not exactly against the run of play, but we were not really looking like we were going to create something that will end up in goal. We were like passive. We were like passing around. We were not like making those runs. We were not seeing those passes. Like nothing was happening, and then suddenly there is this first goal. So I mean, what do you think of the first goal? And like, yeah, I know you are a big fan of Lacazette, so go ahead, enjoy
Yeah,
your
no.
moment.
See, you broke one of the favorite things. Yeah, I do definitely like I said, and it was a proper striker's goal in my opinion. It was a very pinpoint cross, and then it was a very proper header. Not just something to bundle into the goal, but something it was pinpointed to hit the roof of the net. So in a way, it was good. And then the combination play between, I mean, as we all know, like I said, and Aubameyang, that's unmatchable. That's right next to the combination of Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser. Right after them, I think they've combined together for 11 goals. After that comes in Oba and the Laka duo, scoring 9 goals together since the start of last season. So that's definitely something which is good for the team. Yeah, as you said, it was quite passive, and I for sure, I never really expected that move to happen. And so it just happened in a moment of flash that, I mean, we all know how Oba could actually work wonders with the ball, or with his pace that he can actually move forward, and then, not to actually fall into the offside trap. So he timed his run perfectly, so to get some enough space for him and get the ball, and rather than thinking so selfishly, which he never does, he passed the ball to the right player in the right position, who scored a proper goal as any pure striker would. So in a way, the goal reminded what Arteta has been working on the team, which is just creating all these movements and then spaces for people, are finding the right person to score. That's more important. That's actually a good functioning of a team, that I would say, um, rather than you having to try out things, because you're the most valuable player in the team at the moment, doesn't give you any more chance. I mean, doesn't give you any more rights to try the things yourself. So what Oba did to find, like I said, was the best thing. And to say that, I mean, even with the second goal, I know you're going to talk about that in detail, but I'll just mention a quick bit that it reminded of the similar thing which happened for the first goal as well. We were completely passive until that point happened. And I don't really know, I would more put that in a way that it was a momentary lapse of concentration by Westham, which allowed us to get that second goal. If not for that, God knows, we would never have got that second goal at all. Yeah, so that's a quick thing on the second goal. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed everything that was about the first goal. It happened that way. Yeah.
So we give, like I said, an extension of contract again. Like now, like, okay, this is it. Like I said, you can have your contract. Are we going to do that, Bob?
See, when Lacazette was signed on by Arsenal, there were two other prolific strikers back at that time who were signed by two big clubs. One was Alvaro Morata by Chelsea, and then the second one was Lukaku by United. look at where the other two are, and look where Lacazette is. Shows what he's been doing. Yeah, I'm not saying the other two are better or worse, but just that he's managed to get in 50 goals. I mean, which has come down at 129, 129 odd games. That is pretty okay, but still, having to come to England and then having to settle that far is, I would say, is a good thing. And like I said, has got all the right tools in him to make him a really good striker. He's good in link up play, and that's definitely most that I value in a very good striker.
Okay, so that's a good thing. I think. I mean, yes, I agree to all what you have praised about Lacazette, and I also feel that he's a really good part of the team. And I also feel that Arteta should prefer him over Eddie for now, for like, because obviously he's a better man to do the job. Ellen, so I'm going to put you in the worst spot ever. So the thing is, like, for the like, apart from the first goal and the second half, where actually West Ham were on top, where like they scored the goal obviously, and apart from that they hit the crossbar, they also like created a lot of nuisance. I know we have been going on about like how this game is a dampener and all those things, but like, I want you to go like discuss about that part of our game, like where it was not pretty, but like, was there anything that was good in that part, or was that all doom and gloom?
I'll say something good, not in the gameplay as such. Normally, we were always against the other side of referee's decision. We'll always be affected. But this game, right, we were on the other side for a change. Like, we got lucky with that penalty, like, which was not given. Like, if you see in the past, right, like that wouldn't have been given, which is perfectly fine. But if you see this year, right, anything that touches hand that close, like, they were all given as penalties. And VAR has overturned in few of the cases also. With that, and VAR also checking that, and we didn't consider that penalty was like a very, very big thing for us, because that would have made sure like West Ham was at a very good position at that time, and they were continuously attacking us. Our confidence would have gone down really, really bad at that time. So that was one lucky thing we had. If you want to see other good thing, right, like the team, right, like as like Arun and Bob said in the past, like the team would have crumbled in the past, like in these kind of games. Like we might not have scored that second goal at all. But if you see the last 10 or 15 minutes, right, the team was trying to pull up. They were trying, like, within themselves, they got that spirit back, and they were trying to do some attacking. And yes, West Ham like lost their concentration, and we got that goal. But it was mainly because we started trying to. And if you could see, there were instances where like Leno was like nearly playing at the offline, because all our players were like on the other half, and he had to come there regularly. That was happening, and I was like little bit afraid, because like after coming there is like clearances were not proper, and they were going to West Ham players sometimes, and like I was worried like whether that could be a goal from the offline with him like outside the box. I was worried, but like that was what happening, and the team was trying to do something on their own, like, or they were trying to get a result, which for me is a very good thing. But other than these very few things, right, like it was a game that needs to be forgotten, and the team has to improve a lot from this game.
Okay, yeah, that is sort of positive, I guess. Rohit, so like, let's discuss about the third goal. I mean, that is after the substitutions. I mean, we were looking all sterile. It took forever for Arteta to make those substitutions, and especially taking off Willian and bringing in Pepe. I thought like we should have done that at halftime, or like we should have done that like earlier on than when he did that. But he did that at last, and he also, like, most of us are forgetting, he also brought in like David Luiz at some point. So like, tell me about the third goal. Like, I know it was created by Ceballos, but I think the whole game was more like, the whole play was more on Saka than Ceballos. So yeah, tell me about it.
Exactly. It was created by Saka, What I wanted to mention about Saka was that you usually say that great players have a knack of producing such moments even when they have a bad game. So that is what I see with Saka. He didn't have a good game yesterday, largely because I feel that his position is a left wing, and as a left wing back, at this age, he will obviously struggle. But even at having such a bad game, he produces two key moments. He was responsible for the pre-assist for the first goal as well as the second goal. So that is exceptional. I see him going straight to the top. We have like a massive talent on our hands. We shouldn't overplay him like we did with Wilshire. And we
One
should
moment,
protect him
Rohit.
at
One
all
moment.
costs.
Sorry to cut you off. Sorry to interrupt
No
you. What is
problem.
this
Yeah.
pre-assist? What is this pre-assist? Who invented this?
Pre-assist key passes are something that Arsenal fans introduced so that Ozil looks better.
Okay.
Uh,
I just wanted to make it clear to everybody in case people are wondering, I just want to make that clear. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so right, but he was really crucial for both the goals. The passes that he made, uh, we were talking about the penetration from midfield. We were lacking in that, and we had to depend on Saka for that. So yeah, so we understand now why Arteta is going for those midfield targets. So that Saka can have a free role and not depend uh, on others, to produce such things, such moments of magic. So it's too much to ask from a 19-year-old. He may not be able to do in all the games, but yesterday he did it, and we are very lucky to have him.
Yeah, of all the talks about the Mason Greenwoods and the what's that guy from Chelsea? Yeah, I still feel
Hudson
like
Odoi.
I still feel like we've got like one of the best youngster in the league in Saka.
And the good thing is, even the rivals, they rate him very highly. I remember when all this talk about Saka not signing a contract extension, Chelsea fans wanted him, United fans wanted him, so they were all like, "We want come and play with us in the Champions League," things like that. So it's a good thing to hear from even from the opponent fans.
Worthy number 7. I hope so. And Arun, I want your thoughts on like the impact of Pepe, because I felt that when he came on, he was very lively. He created a lot of nuisance. There was like this one moment where he like the ball got under his feet, or else if he would have pulled the trigger, that would have been a goal. Especially like when I think Arba was the one who kind of passed it to him and like kind of bundled into his feet, and also he went on like a run on the right when he came on. Like he took the ball from the midpoint, and then he just went on this run taking on defenders right and left until like he held on to the ball for too long or something. So what do you think of the impact of Pepe when he came on? And also like, do you think we ended on a better note, like the game ended when we were on top than like after the goal, like that's when we were actually, and the 4 minutes of added time, like that 8 to 10 minutes is when we were like really playing well, is what I felt. What do you think of that?
Okay, so if I were to talk about Pepe, I'm a huge fan of Pepe. I loved him ever since he arrived. I've always wanted him to do well. Probably of all the signings that we've had in the last few years, I think he was the one that I've been rooting for the most. Just because of the way he played in Liga, his goals, if you notice, they were always like of a specific type. It's the kind of goals that and his kind of play is what you would hear if you're playing 2-on-2 on FIFA and one of your teammates is actually holding on to the ball for too long, not passing on to you. The kind of selfish game that would make you yell in frustration. I believe that's kind of his game. But the thing is, he delivers the goods. When you ask me about like when he came on yesterday and all that, you're right. Like I said, William was playing plainly because we do not have a creative presence in midfield. If we did have a creative presence in midfield, William is not going to start week in week out. That's for sure. We'll go over with Pepe, and Pepe. Uh, I expect a lot more from this season. I know we've been talking a lot about Pepe coming and Pepe doing things, but I believe this season is going to be like the time when he's actually going to show how good he really is. I'm not saying he's going to go score like 20 goals or give 20 assists, but his presence and the numbers are going to be much better this season than last season because of his experience. Even if you notice the end of last season, he came more in terms of his game as well as the team's game, and he realized that he had to modify his game a little, or rather, Arteta kind of tried to have the team set up in such a way that would make maximum use of his skills, his talents, which is beating on the final man, dribbling, being direct, and taking on the wing back and all that. So, um, given all that, I believe Pepe is going to have a huge impact this season. And like I said, I don't see Willian continuously playing. We're going to eventually revert back to Abba like a Pepe, or whether we play 4 at the back or 3 at the back. This is going to be the case. But yeah, like I know I see William Pepe playing a huge part this season. He's going to definitely get us the goals and the assists. And what was the second part of your question again? I'm really very sorry. The way we ended the game. Yeah, okay. So the way we ended the game, it's always good to end when we are on a high. It kind of gives us the confidence, shows the team that we were able to show things up towards the end when it really matters. When you have a goal lead, you definitely want to be able to close the game out in such a way that you're on top. You don't have any jittery moments. Even if there were jittery moments, I wouldn't have been surprised. The team was set up that way. We went for those points, but given all that, the way in which we finished, like I said, it was really good. It was dominating the last 8-10 minutes. That would have definitely given the players confidence. You're not going into the tunnel thinking, oh my God, we're lucky that we were scrappy, we got these 3 points. You go into the tunnel thinking, okay, we were good, we imposed ourselves in the game, and we kind of know how to play when we do have a goal lead with 10 minutes to go. That is, again, a huge upgrade from how we were playing last season or even a couple of seasons before. Like the very fact that they were able to remain solid would increase the confidence and the morale of the team, whether they're playing a bigger opposition or a smaller opposition. Up by a goal in the last 10 minutes, you're always on the back foot. You're never on the front foot because the other team is attacking. They want at least a point. And we weathered all the attack and we were able to get through, So that for me is a big positive. The way we finished the game, huge positive for the next game.
All right, so we'll just wrap up on the win with West Ham, and we'll just go to the cup game. Just a quick we'll do this quick roundup. Let's go for the I know that it's not gonna be our first 11 that's gonna play the cup game. Or do any one of you think anyone from first team, like Ellen? Do you think we'll get someone from first team playing this game, or do you see all kids going in?
No, it will be people like Saliba, Ozil playing this cup game. It won't be completely kids. Maybe I can take a shot at the 11 also if you want.
Yes, please go
I
ahead.
think it will be Matt Messi at the back.
Okay.
And then we will be playing Suarez, Bolo as our fullbacks, and then it will be Saliba and Luis. Because Luis, to get his match fitness, he might play this game. They will be the back 4. And then we'll be playing a mid 2 of El Nini and Willock. Okay. And then we'll have Ozil in the front, and then the front 3 will be Nielsen and Nketiah, as well as Pepe on the right. So this is my 11. I think we will play a 4-2-1-3 for this Leicester game. So that's my thinking. That will be our 11.
And your prediction for the game?
Normally, Kolasinac should have played the left back, but with him playing this game, it will be Bola is what I think.
Okay, so what's your prediction for the result?
It will be penalties, and any of one of the team will win. It will go to penalties.
Okay, but will we score? Are you seeing a scored penalty 1-1, 2-2?
It will be 1-1. 1-1.
Okay. Bob, quick thoughts on this. Go.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. I'm not going to talk much on the starting lineup because I think, as what Ellen mentioned, the fringe players would most likely be getting a chance. But my match result is a bit different. I expect us to lose the game, partly because with all the things that is coming up, this would be the least of our priorities from Arteta's perspective. we've got a very tough run up of games coming up. So even if we do win up against Leicester, we have to put up a fight against Liverpool. I think Arteta would actually just take his pedals off the gas at the first chance, and then he would not be concerned even if we were to lose the game.
Okay, but care to put in like a score, like 0-2?
Yeah, so I think it might become a 2-1 to Leicester.
Okay.
That's what I think of. Yeah.
Rohit, so on you, do you see Ozil playing, or do you see ESR being the number 10?
I think Ozil will start, but my prediction is same as Bob's. We will lose the game, probably 2-0 or 2-1.
Okay.
I just hope that none of our players get injured,
Okay.
and I don't care about the result. It's fine if we lose.
Okay. Arun, let's wrap this up. So what do you say? The starting lineup is fine. Do you go for the predicted score?
Is there any way to not play in this competition?
By losing.
I find this is the most useless competition of all the competitions that we play. I rate even the Charity Shield higher than this. This is completely, I don't know why.
Do you rate Audi Cup higher than this?
Audi Cup, Emirates Cup is better than this, I find. So Emirates Cup, whatever cup you see. Carabao Cup is completely useless. I just feel that it's a place where, like, starting from the Wenger era, we've always been playing kids. Anytime we try to do something else, we either lose, be it Brentford, be it like, what's that team from the north where there are a lot of Indians. So any other team that you take, we're definitely losing, you know. So I really don't give a beep about this game, to be honest.
You can swear. This is fine.
Okay. Like, you know, I don't give two fucks about this game. Honestly, I really don't care. I believe we'll lose for sure. I think we'll lose like 2-1. Like Bob said, if we score a goal, it would be a bonus for us. Give some confidence to the striker who's playing, probably Eddie. But apart from that, I don't see any positives that we can actually get from this game. It's just like a, you know, something that comes in the middle that you have to do because you have to do it, you know. Otherwise, if we had a chance, I would definitely not go for. I would say, like, let's not play this cup seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you ask me for a prediction, 2-1. Yeah, and the team, I really don't care. I don't care.
All right. Yeah. So that's I think like that's a wrap on the like the cup game. I don't think we have a lot more to say on that, and it's been a nice pod. We've talked a lot more about like the gameplay and everything. We have learned a lot more from the game we won, but doesn't like was not as swashbuckling as we wanted. So thank you all. See you like before the Liverpool game, and we'll have one more go at it. And we also have another pod about the transfers and transfer rumors. You could all, as soon as possible, it'll be out. And yeah, so thank you all. See you after the cup game, the inconsequential cup game. And that is the end of the pod. For more Arsenal-related content, please like, subscribe, and share to the Awakeners podcast. See you next week.